Welcome back, and let's chat commodities now, and precious commodities at that, because while of course we keep talking about gold and silver and diamonds, but there is more than just that when it comes to jewelry. It's emeralds and rubies as well, which actually is more expensive and more in demand than diamond. Let's get to understand more of that from Dev Shetty, who's president and CEO at Fura Gems, and he joins us on the show. Dev, hi, good to have you. Well, tell us on what really is the Indian market share and spend when it comes to other precious stones, because we rarely talk about emeralds and rubies. So what is the kind of number that we're talking about here?
In terms of the India market, India plays a very important role in our segment, predominantly because the East, dominated by the India, catered to 60% of the market share for us. And India particularly has got 20 to 25% market share. What we are trying to do is basically, as we are developing the emerald market in Colombia and as we are developing the ruby market in Mozambique, we are also trying to start marketing the product. And as I said, India takes 20 to 25% market shares. We will be setting up a marketing office in India where we'll be starting promoting the emeralds and the rubies in the Indian market, educating them, building the whole transparency leg, and informing them about the intrinsic features of the product that we provide.
As we were talking earlier, Dev, you mentioned to me on how you were looking at the mining sector and business in India as well. So what areas have you set eyes on, and how easy is it really to get into that sector in India?
It's been evolving, I would say. I think it's not the first time I'm looking India in the mining opportunity. I've seen in the past. Obviously, I was not that successful. I think in particularly last 4 years, there has been a lot of positive sentiments as far as the mining segment is concerned in India. Particularly the mine that we are focusing, the diamond mine in Bunde, we believe it's a world-class mine we can develop into. The government has taken all the right steps. They have called a request from all the interested participants. They've asked for suggestion, opinion. There was a round table. And we are seeing evolving, and I think that's a good thing, that we are seeing that government is seeing a participation from the national and the international players, and the fact that they're open for suggestion gives a lot of comfort. The time will tell. I think we are just waiting for the tender document to come out, but I think the government is going in the right direction.
That is good to know. But also, what is your sense on the Indian demand growth for the colored gems? Because we've seen that there is number available for gold and silver. For the other diamonds and etc., what is the growth number that you've seen?
Oh, it's incredible. I can sum it up. The demand in India is like, even if I increase my production tenfold, I won't be able to meet the demand. I have seen in my last 10 years of mining and selling. Look, I have sold in my lifetime $650 million of rough emeralds and rubies, and I can tell you, like, if I increase that demand 3 or 4-fold, I won't be able to meet the Indian demand. And that is purely because India has always been rich in color. Color gemstone has always been the product that they have been aspired for. The biggest challenge has always been there has never been a consistent supply. There has never been a consistent story. There has never been a transparency, and that is what we did all along in my whole life, like 10 years for the last 10 years, and that is exactly what we believe we are going to do in Fura Gems, is to build the segment again and marketing the whole ethical route to the market. In terms of the demand we see has been growing like 40 to 50% annual year on year, and we see with the increase in supply, the prices that the retailers are achieving, the consumers are ready to give are much more, and the 40 to 50% base, you may sound is very high. That's also because we are coming from the lower base, but I believe it will stabilize over the period of time, like 15 to 20% still year on year. That is purely because in this era where millennium wants a lot of new product, we at Color Gems are the new kid in the block, and with consistent supply, the millennials are accepting and they're ready to pay premium for that.
Oh, well, absolutely. Just before we let you go, Dev, educate us on what is the kind of sense of value when we look at these precious stones. So where do diamonds stand? Where does sapphire, emerald, ruby? How would you put them in that pecking order on what is most expensive, and how do you climb down that ladder?
Oh, it's always been on the top, and this is where the education plays a very important role. That if you see a matrix of all the auction pieces, whether it's Sotheby's, Sotheby's and Christie's, the right at the top comes color diamonds, which sits right at the top. The next one comes is ruby, then sapphires, then come white diamonds, and then comes emeralds. So in terms of investment value, even if you sit on the gemstones, on emeralds or rubies in your portfolio, the value is just going to increase year on year. And in terms of aspiration and the demand, and I think because we'll be supplying consistent in the future market and in the future way, I think the consumer would always get something new as they go along. I think from the aspirational point of view, I think the consumer will always demand color. It's always the issue in the past has been the less supply, and we are pretty sure we'll bridge that gap.
All right, look forward to that, and look forward to talking more to you, Dev, about all of these other gems as well. But thank you so much for joining us though today and giving us a sense on what really Indian demand is when it comes to all of those precious stones. But with that, that's all the time that we have in this edition of Closing Bell.